Not too long ago, I did a video on Latvia, and I guess to learn a little bit more, I'm going to have to continue that by doing another video on it. Let's go. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to FTD Facts. My name is Dave Wapple, and yes, we are going to continue learning a little bit more about the great country of Latvia. In my last episode, we looked at some of the basics of the country. We looked at population, imports, exports, all that lovely jazz. But in this one, I'm going to dive into a little more of the environmental aspects of the country because it's just a good thing about it. Partially due to the fact that I also really love the environment. And before I get started, I just want to let you guys know if you're from Latvia or you're just interested in it, I've also created a really nice playlist around the country, which you guys can check out in the description box below and at the end. Let's rock and roll. So when it comes to the environment and geology of Latvia, well, let's be perfectly honest, Latvia is divided up into three different sections. This happened because of glacier movements from the past. The Moranic region is located to the west. There is the eastern uplands and, of course, the mid area, which is the lowlands. Lowland terrain actually makes up a major part of the country of Latvia. This is due to the fact that 98% of the country is under 200 meters above sea level. Of this whole land, there is about 12,000 rivers within Latvia and, of course, about 3,000 lakes. As a matter of fact, I talked about the longest river in my last episode, but for this episode, I'm going to look specifically at the lakes. Because when it comes to the largest lake, this is known as Lake Lubins, which has a size of approximately 80.7 kilometers square. However, that is obviously depending on how high the water level is. In some areas, it can go up to 93, and then it can drop down to 90. Now, speaking of depth, what is the deepest lake within all of Latvia? This would be Lake Drizits, coming in at 65.1 meters or 214 feet deep, and it also has 9 islands. As for the lowest point, nothing really goes under the sea level because the Baltic Sea pretty much is at the 0 point. Overall, when it comes to all of the water that is classified as renewable water, it comes in at 35 kilometers cubed. Now for land, they say that 52% of the entire country is covered in woodland. The most common tree within Latvia is the pine and the birch trees. And because of that, forestry is one of the largest industries within the country and even in Europe. As a matter of fact, Latvia produces about 25 million cubic meters of timber. However, only about 12 to 13 million cubic meters are actually from cut down trees. And with that, did you know that Latvia has the most strict rules, regulations, and guidelines on its forestry industry out of any European country? Including those laws, there's also some coastal protection laws that have been put into place, specifically the Baltic coast, as it has the second longest coastline of all the Baltic states, and some areas are still considered untouched realistically by man, and they want to preserve that as much as they can. This is the other thing, when it comes to Latvia, it unfortunately doesn't have any really valuable resources. Like oil, it's not really in Latvia. It does have things like limestone, gypsum, there's also dolomite, and yes, even gravel and sand, but that's used for more local industries. What's really interesting about Latvia is sometimes if you're walking along on a beach, you will sometimes find an old piece of amber that's over millions of years old. Pretty cool. I feel like I'm going to Jurassic Park and finding those ones with the little, the mosquito inside. Now for climate, Latvia doesn't really have any problems in this department. First of all, it's nowhere near any volcanic sort of regions, nor does it suffer from hurricanes, tornadoes, or anything of that sort. It's really quite a good place to live. However, in the months of December, it can still be pitch black at 9 a.m. in certain areas, and daylight around that time is usually gone by 4 p.m. Also, one really interesting fact about the environment, did you know that Latvia only has one known impact crater in the entire country? Known as the Dobel crater, it was formed around 290 plus 35 million years ago, and it is about 4.5 kilometers in diameter. The thing is, you can't really see it because it's buried underground. As a matter of fact, the city of Dobel completely covers the entire crater. Anyways, guys, that is it. My name is Dave Wapple, and I hope you guys had a great time learning more about this country. I mean, especially if you're coming back from our first one. However, with that being said, if you want to continue to learn more, be sure to check out our Latvia playlist because I got more videos around this amazing country. Also, give us a big thumbs up if you really like this video. But other than that, you guys have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you later. Bye. All right, so here is that playlist that I was telling about. Feel free to check it out. Thanks for watching, and we will see you later.